Okay, welcome to the call tonight, guys. Today is Thursday, June 2nd, clarified the date. And tonight, I have seriously, I'm misty even just announcing her on here because I literally love Jessica. She is someone I've followed for a really long time. She's just so real, and that's what I love about her. She doesn't hide any of the realities of even this business, life, motherhood, all that good stuff. So I follow her, and I actually get notifications when she posts things. So that's not stalkerish at all, Jessica, just so you know. And I want to tell everybody, I don't want to mess up on her stats here because she should be super, super proud of all of her accomplishments. She's a 12-star diamond coach, but she's 15-star qualifying. Yay, so proud of you. She's 1 month away from Success Club Legend, but she is an all-star. She's been a coach for 22 months, and she's an elite coach. She's ranked number 54 in the company. That is amazeballs. So I am super excited to have you talk tonight, and I really don't want to take up any more of your time because I'm just excited to hear you speak. So I'm going to mute myself, and you can go ahead and just speak, Jess.
Thanks, girl. Oh, that means so much to me, Jen. I really, really appreciate you. And you guys, it is so fun to be on this call tonight. Thank you for having me. And I do like to just keep it real, right? You've heard all my horror stories about my 3-year-old as we're starting. So, but I'm excited to talk with you guys about fearless belief. I am a firm believer that, pun, but I'm a firm believer that that you need to just go into this business and just believe in whether anything that you do, really just really be able to see it, because if you see it, you will believe it, and then you're going to see a lot of successes and different roadblocks along the way, but it will be worth it. And so I'm going to start off by just sharing a little bit about my story. I won't make it too long. Do we have 30 minutes, Jen, or 40 minutes or an hour? What's the time frame?
I actually just upped my plan on here, so I think it's like an hour or something, whatever the plan is for Zoom when you do the pro plan. So.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Just wanted to make sure that I don't get to a point and all of a sudden it's like you have 10 minutes left and it's kind of like, so sweet. Okay. So I basically have always loved health and fitness and nutrition. I've played soccer my whole life and all of that. But when I was nursing my little guy for 9 months, I gained like 30 pounds just nursing him. It's pretty much the opposite of what a lot of moms experience with weight loss. I gained weight, and I just remember for like 9 months, I was never full. I literally could sit down and eat an entire pizza and still be hungry. That's just how I was when I was nursing. And so obviously I had huge nutrition and portion control issues. And I got to a point where I saw my friend Luana just on Facebook, like I lost 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds. And I was like, okay, girl, I don't know what you're doing, but I got to get in on that. And I had always loved Beachbody. I had actually done Insanity and T25, and I really loved it. I just had very little energy. So having an accountability group was huge for me, and I went into it, and in 21 days, doing the 21-day fix, I lost 9 pounds and 11 inches, and it was the first time that I had not gone up in weight. So to lose weight was like, okay, this is not hormonal. This is a portion control issue, and I can do this. So at the same time, I had an amazing job. I was the worship director and a director of connections at an awesome church. Absolutely loved it, but it was becoming a problem for me as a mom. And what I mean by that is I worked 50 hours a week, and ministry is amazing, but you can work a lot of unpaid hours that you just have to do. And it's on the table, baby. And I just remember Isaiah, like I would go pick him up from daycare and he'd get in the car and I'd have to go back to church with him. And he'd be like, no, Mom, no church. And he would be crying about it. And that is like the absolute opposite of what I wanted for my kid to think about church. And I knew that he needed to be my absolute number one ministry, and my husband, of course, too. So So with that said, I kind of had an idea that I needed something different, that God was calling me to something different, and that was hard to come to terms with, but I just continued to pray about it. I went to a Super Saturday as a customer, and Lindsay Stay was speaking at it, and she talked about her faith. And for me, that was a really big deal. And I started to think, maybe this could be a ministry. Like maybe this whole Beachbody thing could be a ministry. And I really thought about it. I prayed about it. I remember at the time they were like, if anybody starts today, they get a free PIO program. And I was so close to raising my hand. Like I was going to start up today, but then I realized that I just wasn't quite ready because I hadn't talked to my husband. I don't do anything halfway. So I needed to just contemplate it. So remember that, guys, because when people tell you no, sometimes it just means that they just need a little bit more time. And so I prayed about it for 2 weeks, and it's not like I felt like God was like, you need to do this, but I felt like my discernment did not tell me no. And that's a big deal because I knew that my discernment would tell me no if it was wrong. So I said, God, if you want me to do this, I pray that you bless it. And if not, that I would just fall on my face really, really fast. And that was confusing because the first 10 people that I talked to that I thought like, they're going to be on my team, we're going to do this, they all said no. Like to this day, none of them have ever bought a challenge pack. And they're best friends of mine and family that I thought would totally be in this. But I also asked God to protect my relationships. So I think that there's something to do with that. I could have thrown in the towel, right? Instead, I decided to look at those objections as opportunity instead of rejection. And now when I look at my diamonds, out of 16, 11 of them told me no at least once. Most of them told me no twice. One of my top coaches told me no twice and told me I was part of a pyramid scheme. And, it's amazing to see how that can transform, right? And how when you live this out and you're consistent and you just do those things that you need to do every day, not every day is like, I did something huge today, but you were consistent, how much that translates, right? So I just went for it, and in 24 days I became a diamond coach, and the people that joined me I would have never dreamed would join me. They were not who I had planned to be on my team, but it's who God had planned to be on my team. And so I just, to this day now, they're my sisters, they're my brothers, they're my best friends. Not literally, my brothers and my sisters haven't joined me, but they are just my family. It's amazing. So I'm sure a lot of you guys feel like that too, but it really taught me a lot to have that fearless belief right away, because those people that I thought would join me said no. And I see a lot of coaches, especially newer coaches, that literally get those like first 5 no's and they just throw in the towel. Like, I wasn't meant to do this. And I'm like, whoa, it's like digging for treasure. There's a lot of dirt and it's really messy and it's not fun. Like digging in dirt is not fun, but there is treasure there, and you just have to be consistent enough and work hard enough to be able to find the gold. I know that for me, like I look at the story of David and Goliath, and usually like even if, faith or Christianity isn't your thing, that's cool. But usually you've heard of David and Goliath, right? And what I think is so interesting is that everybody wanted to put all this armor on David. They wanted to put the king's armor on him and do all this stuff so that he could be prepared to face this giant. And he was like, no, I just got to, thanks, baby. He was like, no, I just got to do it. Please don't do it. Watch Peppa Pig. But David was like, no, I just got to do it my way. He was like, this is what I'm called to do, and I've got to do it this way. And it might be different than, well, honey, mommy's talking. Okay. Can you sit down, please? Thank you. So sorry, you guys. My husband's a firefighter, and he is on duty tonight. And so I'm just going to work it the best way I can with this crazy kid. But I look at that, and David was like, I feel called to do this. I've got to do this the way that I know I'm supposed to. And you know what? Goliath showed up 40 days. He showed up. And what that meant is that David had to show up 41. He had to show up. He had to be there. He had to face his giant. And some of us have like a 400-pound giant, but we keep feeding it. You know what I mean? And sometimes that's fear. And I remember the first time I was on the phone with a customer, I was literally shaking. Like my voice was shaking. I was shaking, but I was fearless in my actions, even though I was like totally scared. And I was a director of connections for a living, but even though I was totally scared, I knew that I needed to be fearless in my actions, and I needed to just do what I was called to do, even if it made me uncomfortable. And there's a quote by Craig Holiday that says, successful people get uncomfortable. So if I tell my new coaches, if there's parts of this that make you feel like you kind of want to squirm and you kind of want to hide a little bit, that's probably normal, right? So I do call customers. That's a good question, Jen. I actually talk to a lot of my customers and coaches on the phone, and it's one of those things that it really helps me learn their goals and really get to know them better. And it helps me sign up a lot of coaches because I let them know that if they want to start out as a coach, that if they have a couple friends that join them, 3 friends, that way they hit Success Club, but they can also make some money too. And that's a really great way to kind of get people started and excited about the business. So guys, 1 second. I'm so sorry.
Okay, I'll speak for a few seconds. You guys all get it. You guys all get the whole mom thing. So I feel bad.
I'm so sorry.
There she is.
Like, so interesting, but it's not throwing me off at all. So I hope you guys are okay with it. So basically, like recently I went 15-star qualifying, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, I missed the week to qualify for Summit, and it kind of killed me. I was just feeling like we were so close, and then we missed it. And, like I could have just thrown in the towel, but I thought, you know what? No, like we are close. We're going to do this. I had food poisoning. It was awful. And I felt like God was saying, like, not this week. And it was a way of him, like, kind of humbling me too, like to not get that, credit or whatever. It was like a way of him saying, like, it's my timing, And so I just, kept on praying about it and pushed through. I had to add 12 coaches in 1 week in order to have enough in my first business center and in my second. And it worked out and it happened. And, something that I did before that is I proclaimed it. I declared it to my team. Like, I feel called to do this, and we're going to do this. And I actually bought my diamond gifts for my diamonds beforehand in faith, knowing that, that this was something that we were going to do. And so it just, I really, when I say fearless belief, I mean, I get that there are risks, like when we are like, you know what, I'm going to go for this. Yeah. Like we might fail. And I have failed a lot of times. I have failed forward, as I like, to call it. And I'm sure you've heard that before, but I want my team to know that it's okay to make mistakes. And when I went diamond, I definitely did not understand a lot of things, right? I definitely had some, just different mistakes that I made. I didn't understand what this entire business was about. In fact, I don't even know if I fully understood like volume, but I was living out what I was supposed to do, and I was getting help with what I needed to get help with. And it's one of those things where I was like literally on the phone with CR like every day at one point, because I just had to be, so they like knew me. They were like, oh, it's Jess. No, I'm just kidding. But I just, like they definitely knew who I was. They knew that I was calling again, because the FAQs FAQs confused me, and I knew I needed to find answers because I was now leading a team of people, and it was all new. So belief is a big deal, and then just understanding that it is a risk and that you're probably going to make mistakes. And I know when I was going for the 10-star bonus, the first time I was going for it, I got into week 4 and I made a really, really dumb mistake. All of my coaches held their diamonds. They did what they were supposed to do. And I woke up one day and my business center, instead of 10-star qualifying, said diamond coach. And I was like, it's a mistake, right? Right? I see your face, Jen. I was like, it's a mistake, right? And I went to CR, and the diamond line was closed because that was before they stopped running the diamond line or whatever on the weekends. Now they have them on the weekends. I know. And they're like, oh no, you're fine. You just need to add 30 PV by this week. And I'm like, so I didn't lose rank. It's a mistake because at that time, like the back office was wrong every other day. And they were like, no, you're fine or whatever. And then Monday it doesn't change. So I called in and they're like, oh no, you lost 10-star. You actually went down to diamond because you have to have 200 PV. And I had been putting all my customers through my second business center. And I was so concerned about making sure my diamonds were okay that I forgot to look at my own PV. So I had 170 PV and I went down to diamond. So I not only did I lose that bonus, but I was like, I went down, to diamond for a week, and I had worked so hard, and I had to go to my team and tell them, you guys are amazing. You did exactly what you were supposed to do. Please learn from this, because if I would have spent $30, I would have had a big bonus so that that I could buy gifts for all of you with. But it was such a bummer. So I've made a lot of really interesting mistakes. I did post about this. So I've done a lot of things that are not my best moments, but you learn, right? So everything is a risk, and there's sometimes when we're gonna feel really, really silly about stuff, but our team can learn from that and grow from our mistakes too. So everything's a risk. Why would we shoot for big goals, right? Is it hard? Absolutely. But successful people take risks, so we got to do it. And we have to believe that if it's what God has called us to, that it will work out, You can't live in fear. So I'm in my second week of qualifying for 15-star, right? And I'm not going to lie to you. There's times on Thursday morning that I wake up the past 2 weeks and my heart kind of hurts, but I just cannot live the next 4 weeks with anxiety. That's just not healthy. And I've just got to trust God and know that I'm doing the absolute best that I can. And so that's just what it comes down to. A lot of it is trust, right? And knowing that this doesn't define us at the end of my life. When I am standing before God, is it going to be how many stars were you? No, it does not matter. In the long scheme of things, when I look at people in Beachbody, nobody knew who Melanie Mitchell was in my circle of friends. You know what I'm saying? I mean, she's awesome. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying that nobody knows necessarily who that is. It's we're kind of stuck in that sometimes. And so I continually tell myself, this does not define me. My worth and my hope is not in Beachbody. It's in helping others and this being a ministry. And that's winning, right? So it's something that I definitely have to remind myself. And every day, something that I share with my coaches is every day I ask myself, would I hire myself or would I fire myself? At the end of the day, would you hire yourself or would you fire yourself? And that's a really good thing to keep you accountable, to ask yourself that, and to know, did I do what I was supposed to do today? That's important. So I had a discussion with some of my PS coaches because we had a month in April that was a little rough. It just, a lot of people that had been hitting SC like 8, 9, 10 months in a row didn't hit it. They were so close to All-Star and then they didn't hit it. And something that I always do as a leader, and I really want to speak to you guys about this as you lead your teams, is like, ever since the day or the month I started, I've hit SC10. And part of that is because I knew right away as a leader that if I'm going to ask my team to hit SC5, that I need to be able to do that twice over, right? And so for my team, then I can have these talks with them and go, guys, like, you know, like, we are not a mediocre team. Like, the Fearless Empire, what we are about is nothing lukewarm. We are about passion and integrity and character and belief, and we need to start working this thing as if we're doing it for Jesus, right? So I want to share with you guys something that I did with my team, and some of you guys may recognize some of this. So what I did with my team is I showed them pictures of their family, and these are pictures of your families, right? Some of you. And I basically said, like, are these people worth it? Are they worth your hard work? Because some of us have to get up at 6 a.m. to get our power hour in, so that when the kiddos wake up, I do that with some of my moms. Everyone, I don't have to get up at 6 a.m., but I do it with them because it's good for them and I want to support them. So we get up and we do our power hour together on Zoom. We do a live power hour. And that way, when these guys get up, it's worth it, right? Because they got it done. But that 1 hour of sleep, I'm not going to lie, it is a huge sacrifice for us, right? But these people are worth it. And if you can see the vision, a lot of your whys probably have to do with your families. And if you can see the vision of what this business will do for them, you are going to be able to grasp the wholeness of this a lot better. I know that Carl said at leadership, he said, if hundreds of people say no to you, does that change your why? Right? Like, because if it does, you need another why. Because it should not change your why. You should be prepared every day to experience mass rejection. And I literally have gotten to a point that when people say no to me, I'm like, check off my list. Because I know that on average, it takes somebody 7 times to hear about something before they're going to commit. So I might be the first time they hear about it. I might be the 4th time they hear about it. They might hear it from me, and then they might watch my videos, or they might see something on my page, or they might just happen to catch one of those crazy late night infomercials and go, that's what she's talking about. Okay, I'm in, right? But I know that when they say no to me, I said no. I know that that's normal and it's okay, and that's why we continue to plant those seeds. So then I actually showed them pictures of their transformations, but I'm going to show you one of my upline coach, Lindsay's transformation here. And I basically said to them, guys, this is 2 SC points, right? Like, this was 2 SC points. Was it worth it? Absolutely. Did Lindsay Matway have to get her hands dirty and get through the dirt to get to the gold to sign up Lindsay Stay? Absolutely. Like, Lindsay didn't just jump on board. I know that for a fact, right? So was it worth it? Like, when I look at you guys, like, to be honest with you, you guys were all 2 SC points, right? Like, you were an SC point. I was an SC point or 2, whatever. But it absolutely represents lives changed. And we don't even call it Success Club. We call it Lives of People Changed Club, because it is so worth it that I am going to work until 10:59, because we're Central Time, till 10:59 at the last day of the month if I have to. But this helping people transform is a non-negotiable. It's not something that I'm willing to go at 10:30 at night, oh, I gave it my best shot. No, I'm going to work until the minute is over, so that when I go to bed, I can know that I did everything I could. And I'm talking about the last day of the month. But you know, you need to put God first, then your family and all of that. And then you need to know that if you're called to this, that you have a responsibility to share this opportunity with others. It's not inviting is not an option. If you don't invite somebody, I will. I mean, not really, but you know what I'm saying? Like somebody will, right? So it's not an option. It's actually your responsibility and you need to do it. And that is what you're called to for right now in your life. So we talked about that. We also talked about how, like, not for everyone, depending on how much volume you have, but for a lot of people, if you are not hitting Success Club, you're not even getting your Shakeology paid for, right? So, like, you've got to do it in order to even get more out of this than what you're putting in, and you're not moving your business forward. It's so important to understand what giving up actually looks like and why you should never give up or give in, and would you hire yourself or fire yourself? Something that helps me with fearless belief is remembering that we all have 24 hours. So Oprah has 24 hours in a day. Obama has 24 hours in a day. We are all equal in that you have 24 hours in a day. How will you take those 24 hours captive and make a difference every single day? There is an Emmett Smith commercial from after they won the Super Bowl, and he basically is like pumping iron, and they just won the Super Bowl. So it's like, he's like, okay, I'm going to take a break. And he looks at his watch for 2 seconds, and then he puts more weight on the side and starts pumping even harder. And then the caption is, you know, all men are created equal. Some work harder in preseason. And I love that so much because right now, guys, especially this time of year, this is our preseason. Like this is, I mean, it's go time, but it's also our preseason because what you do now is going to determine how you show up at Summit, how, you know, like how you really determine the rest of the year. We're about halfway through the year almost, if not already. I guess we are. Anyway, but I really look at that and I'm like, okay, like our preseason's almost over. What are you doing now to prepare for the game? It's so important to think that way. You know, I know this might sound dramatic, but I look at Harriet Tubman. Like, not only did she work her way up to the north, but then she was like, I'm not done yet. She actually went back down and got more people. Like, that's working the preseason. You know what I mean? Like, she created a path so that she could go down and help her friends come back up. Like, that's a pretty big deal. You've got to want to succeed as much as you need to breathe. Eric Thomas, I don't know if you all follow him or not. If you don't, do it. I love listening to him. So like when I drive, I listen to him in my car. And he's an incredible pastor, motivational speaker, hip hop artist. He moves me. And I mean, like, I get done listening to him and I'm like, I'm going to go win the Olympics. I don't know. I'm just going to do it. Right. And he's amazing. But something that he talked about was this story about this older man and this younger guy. And this younger guy, like, basically looked at the older man, and the older man was like this millionaire, had made it in life. And this guy was like eager for it. And he was like, okay, man, like, what do I need to do? I want to be just like you. Like, you've got the goods. I got to do this. Right. And the old man was like, you really want to succeed? And he said, yeah. And he goes, okay, show up at the beach tomorrow at 4 a.m. Show up at the beach. So the guy's like, okay, is this guy going to take me swimming? What's up? But he shows up in his swim trunks, and the guy goes, okay, go out in the water. So he goes out to his knees, and he goes, go out in the water, and he goes up to like his shoulders, and then he gets up to his neck, and the old man is with him, and he like pushes his head down in the water and holds it there until the guy can almost like not breathe anymore, and then he lets him back up. And he's like, what did you feel when you were down there? And he goes, I just wanted to breathe. And the old man goes, when you want to succeed as much as you want to breathe, you will find success. And that's kind of how I look at helping these people and this ministry of like, I need to give everything I can to do this, because I know that I will have held nothing back. Right? And so if you want to succeed as much as you want to breathe, trust me, you're going to succeed because breathing is a non-negotiable. So succeeding is going to be a non-negotiable, right? So yeah, so I think sometimes people think that successful coaches don't really have to try. You know, I look at like Melanie or Lindsay Matway or just different people, and it'd be really easy for me to think like, they don't really have to try. And the truth is that they work really hard. And, you know, they may have worked even harder when they first started, but they work really, really hard. And if you're not moving forward in your business, I promise you it's not because like everybody else had this miraculous training that you missed out on. That's probably not the case. It's there's really no material out there that is going to just completely transform how you connect with people. A lot of times it's fear that holds people back, and it's confidence. So like I said, I was nervous. I've had, you know, a lot of times where I have felt like a failure, and I just continue to take that energy and keep moving forward. So last year, I wanted to be a 15-star diamond by the end of the year. I started out as a diamond coach, and I was like, I'm going to be 15-star at the end of the year. And I think like my corporate mentor, Jeff, at the time, like I think he thought I was kind of funny, but he was like super like sweet and sunshine and rainbows and was like, you got this, girl. And it was great. So, but then it started to happen, right? Like I went from like diamond to 7-star by Summit, right? And then at Summit, I was 9-star, but I was recognized as 7. And then it just like, then it, you know, it kept going, but then it got a little bit hard because summer was a little hard. And I had this goal to be 15-star by September. And I got to September and I wasn't 15-star. In fact, I wasn't 10 yet. And I remember feeling like I had failed or something a little bit. And I know that might sound really like silly or crazy, but I just was like, wow, like this is like the first really big goal that I haven't met. And like, I really thought I was going to do it. And, you know, it didn't happen. And what I realized is that every time I pushed for a goal or whatever, when I didn't hit it, because I was 13 qual by the end of the year, right? So I didn't hit those goals, but I would have never been 13-star qualifying or 11-star if I hadn't been pushing for 15. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes we have to like really, really shoot for the moon in order to like land where you're supposed to land, you know? And so I believed with everything I had, I believed that I was going to be a 15-star diamond by September last year. Like totally believed it. And it didn't happen. But I think that the best thing that I have learned is in this business is like, if you're going to get a little disappointed about missing a goal, that's okay. You can be disappointed, but feel that emotion and channel it to continue to move forward. I had the worst winter. This winter was horrible. You know, once I was 13-star qual, I was 13-star qual 4 times where we would go in and out, and it was hard. And I was like, like it was just, I was attacked. Like I had people in my family die. I was attacked for my faith. Like by just weird things was happening. And it was like, God, if you want me to succeed in this, I'm just going to keep giving this to you. And I'm just going to take that pain and I'm just going to move forward. And hopefully my team can learn from this and we can grow from this. And it bonded us as a team even more. And you know, it brought us to this place where now as we're going for 15, we are completely united in this. We've got a message chain going and everybody's encouraging each other. And if anybody's low on coaches, they're like, I'm getting it done by Monday, so we're good to go. I mean, just it's an amazing feeling to be so united. And I feel like if I wouldn't have gone through those battles and shared it openly with them, it wouldn't be like that. So there's something really, really powerful about being fearless. And then when you fail, just being open about it. Or when you're hurting, being open about it, right? So, yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of tears along the way, but every risk has been worth it. And I know I'll be able to continue to say that. So when we get off this call, guys, I want to give you a call to action, and that would be to go to somebody on this call. Okay. So look at and see who's all on this call, pick somebody you are going to go to, and whatever goal that you've been kind of toying with in your mind, like, should I go for that? Like, oh, if I say it out loud, does that mean I have to actually really go for it? I want you to go to somebody on this call and I want you to tell them what your goal by summit is going to be. Okay. So you've got like 2 months. What is your goal by summit? What are you going to do? And it can be whatever it is related. It can be, rank. It can be financial. It can be something about your team. It can be anything, but pick one goal that you've been a little fearful of and just decide that you're going to believe it and you're going to go all in. And then I'm going to believe that you are going to hit it. But if anything were to happen where you don't hit it, don't you dare get down on yourself, right? You just decide to channel that and to make another goal and to go for that goal. But whenever you're shooting, whenever you have a goal that's here, I encourage you to shoot here. Sometimes Arnaud from corporate will kind of laugh at me because I'll have like 15 people hitting Success Club. And then he's like, what's your goal for next month? And I'm like, 30. And he's like, Jess, like, let's rein it in. You know what I mean? But the truth is that I know that I push myself. And I know that because of that, I can hit bigger goals. And so I just encourage you guys, make sure you find that person that you're going to talk to after this and be accountable to. So I thought I would end by just sharing a video that speaks right to my heart. Eric Thomas is actually, hey babe, can you wait on that? Eric Thomas actually helps kind of narrate it and is featured in it. But I'm going to share it with you guys. It's like 3 minutes long, but it's called The Process. And it kind of goes back to that whole preseason and belief. And then we'll do some questions. Is that okay? Does that work for you guys? Okay, cool. All right. So I am going to pull it up here and we'll do full screen. Can you guys see it?
Tomorrow's betterment. If we don't know what that betterment is, the what factor, what we're really doing it for, we can't win this war, guys.
If you had 6 months to live, what would you do differently with your life? What would you do differently? If your life is not what you want it to be, if you're not living the way that you want to live, if you're not experiencing what you want to experience, if it's not giving you what you want, you've got to ask yourself, what have I sold my soul for?
A real man in the dark, when nobody's watching, he put me in work. A real man, when coach ain't even watching, he's studying film on his own. Because he loves the process. Everybody want to be a beast. Everybody got a lion. Tattoos of lions. Most of y'all think that a lion is who he is because of how ferocious he is when he catches that gazelle, or when he catches that zebra. If a lion see an animal that's wounded, or a real hunter see an animal that's wounded, what do? They don't kill him. Why don't they kill him? He already hurt. And they beast. A part of being a beast just ain't eating a gazelle. A part of being a beast is the hunt. It's the hunt that they're excited about. Because real lions like to hunt. They love the process just as much as they love the prize. And some of y'all just want to score. You don't like the process. You're not in love with the process.
Well, they say when people take the courage to journey into the center of their fear, they find nothing. It is only many layers of fear being afraid of itself.
You put in 120% every time, or you don't put in nothing, because listen to me very closely. The day this opportunity you have, it might not be here next year. It might not be here the year after next. It might not be here the year after that. This is the only moment you got. You better take advantage of this particular moment.
You've hit the wall someplace, you've looked in the mirror too many times and haven't smiled. You want to change the situation, move from where you are. The journey is not easy. Before you start that journey mentally, you must fuel yourself with the right reasons, the right fuel to sustain the entire journey. Everyone's not off the start.
It does not take talent. You don't have to be talented. Right? You don't have to be gifted. You don't have to be the quickest, the strongest. You don't have to be the most intelligent to get to where I am. That's what you gotta do. You gotta grind, though. The grind. You might come from privilege. Your daddy might hook you up with a car. You might know people. You might be able to get your job. But you will not outlive me. You gotta grow up and get your feelings of man. That if you ever get beat, you gotta get beat by somebody that's just pure mortality. You better not ever get beat by somebody because you beat yourself.
All right. I hope you guys could all see that. You did, right? Okay. I had a fear that for some reason my screen share wouldn't show it. So, there's something about those videos that just make me go, I can do this. Like, I can love the part of, this that sometimes people don't love, but I can do it, and I can, nobody's going to outwork me, right? Like, that's what I can control. I can't control everything. A lot of this business is out of my hands, but I can control how hard I work and what I give to it. So yeah. And what I believe in, right? So anyway, that's basically what I have for you guys tonight. Do you guys have any questions for me at all? Isaiah, no. I think there's questions in the chat, huh? No. Put that away. Do you guys hear that? He's got a toot machine gun from the Minions. I know. I'm so professional.
No,
okay,
my boys had the
Isaiah,
exact same thing.
Do they have them?
Oh, yeah. And
my dad gave it to him, and seriously?
Yeah,
Come
I got
on,
it
Dad.
for them.
Get him a little toy boat.
They do it all the time. I'll be trying to make a video to put on Facebook, and they'll come up behind me, make a fart sound with it. And they are so embarrassing. I'm like, you know what?
Oh, I love it. So, yeah. So, okay. So I see, do you have a plan with your calls without sounding scripty? So when I call customers or coaches, Isaiah, please, honey, don't do that here. Go to mommy's room. Go to mommy's room and do that. Sorry, guys. I just really, the biggest thing I ask them about are their goals. A lot of times people that I talk to on the phone are cold market and on purpose. So with my page, I get a lot of leads, and when they're interested in signing up, I try to build a relationship with them. And then when they're interested in signing up, I'm like, you know what? It takes 5 minutes over the phone. I can always just get your email and send a link to your email address, but I'd love to talk with you more about your goals and have you get to know me as a coach too a little bit. And they almost always opt for the phone call. And it's great because then I also know that they are fully signing up and they're not just going to get a link to their email that they don't really fill out, And so that's really helpful. And I just keep it super casual. I don't really have anything specific that I say other than, oh my gosh, it's so good to talk to you, for real. And tell me more about your goals, and then I can tell you more about the program too. And what questions do you have, and just kind of go from there. They also can hear your energy. So I also do a lot of voice memos from all my challengers. When I check in with them weekly, I just do voice memos. It takes up so much less time than typing messages. Even if you're copying and pasting, it's just more personal. Okay, cool. I'm glad I wasn't the only one with childish issues tonight. Okay, this always hits me hard. Trying to think. Do you help your downline coaches as well, or just your PS coaches? I absolutely am there for my entire team. If a downline coach specifically has a question for me, I absolutely talk through it and stuff. But I also make sure to refer to their coach as well. I think that that's good because it creates good balance, and it also it makes it so that they know to go to their coach first, in a sense. And we kind of talk about that a little bit, but absolutely. If somebody has a question for me, I want to help them. And I also have some coaches that are not really, like they might be at Emerald and they might have like a 4 or 5 star underneath them. And that 4 or 5 star needs to know how to open their second business center and where to place it and all of that. So I'm definitely available to them. How do I train my coaches? So I'm actually going to be starting a new training where I'm going to do all lives for coaching stuff. But in my welcome email, I tell them to go through the Coach Online Office training. I don't know if you guys do that, but that training has totally improved. It's written by top coaches in the business. So I have them do that, and I put that in my welcome email so that, and I tell them to do that before and to go through our new coach, the Fearless Empire new coach materials, where they have a checklist and all of that. And before I even do my GSR with them, and part of their checklist is to schedule a GSR with me. And then when I do the GSR, one of the biggest questions I ask them is if they want to walk, run, or sprint. And there's no right or wrong. It just depends on where you are at with your network and what you want to do with this and that kind of thing. So we talk through that, and then sometimes people's goals change. So what I do is I check in with my new coaches that whole first month pretty diligently and just, how's it going? And if somebody says they want to sprint, but they, by the end of the month, they haven't been able to sign up anybody, we're going to kind of reevaluate those goals so that they don't get discouraged. But yeah. How do I find new people? I definitely use a like page. I don't boost ads. I do ad sets, which if you guys are looking for really good training, I know Jesse Reagan, I did his training and it was amazing. I mean, it is a lot of work. You have to be able to put in the work. It's a little frustrating at times because you have to find your audience, but once you find really great ads or your audience, you can continue to run those ads. And that is what has worked really, really well for me. How many hours a day do you work? I work about 4 to 6 hours a day. I could probably do a little bit more than that, but I feel really good about the time that I put in, and I'm hitting all my goals. I always try to hit SC 10 by mid-month, no later, but for sure I try to hit SC the first week of every month by setting up appointments. The last week of the month, I set up appointments for the first week of the next month so that I can hit SC right away. And I tell my coaches, to do that as much as they possibly can too. Goals don't change, dates do. That is such a good quote, Heather. Craig Holiday says a goal is not a goal until you put a date on it. So when somebody says like, my goal is to be diamond, and I'm like, okay, by when? And they're like, I don't know. I'm just I'm just kind of growing this organically or just kind of feeling it out. Like that's super trendy to say, but let's get real. Like a goal is not a goal until you put a date on it. And it's so interesting because I'll have people that are kind of dabbling and I'm like, girl, like you are growing. Like let's say by the end of May, you're going to go diamond. Like, all right, is that your goal? Like, do you want to do that? And if they're like, let's do it, then I'm like, okay, like let's make this a non-negotiable. So by this date, let's make it happen. And it's amazing because you put a date on it and all of a sudden what could have just been wishy-washy becomes a focus and it's intentional and they're signing people up more than they ever thought they would. And it's really amazing to watch. So I'm really into that as well, Heather. How do you present the opportunity? I really have had really great success with my challenge groups. So something that I do that I would love to share this with you guys. I always watch for coach-like behavior within my challenge groups. And then I basically go to that person and I, say, oh my gosh, Janie, you are killing this challenge. I can totally tell that you have the gift of encouragement. And, for us coaches, we don't have to be experts in the field. That's what our programs and eating guides are for. But what we are is really amazing encouragers, and you have that gift. Would you ever consider coaching at all? And, I know that they're going to probably say no that first time, but they're going to be flattered. And then I say, no worries. Why don't you pray about it or think about it? And in the meantime, would you like to help me run this challenge group? I can help you by giving you, a template for Monday and Wednesday. And then if you'd be willing to help me run the group, you can add your own photos and put your own little spin on it. But I would absolutely love to have you do that with me. Would you be willing? And I've never had somebody tell me no. And then they pretty much are coaching within the group. And then by the end, they're on board to become coaches. Not every time. Sometimes I have to do that a few times. But I did that with a free group I ran through my like page. And I signed up 10 business coaches at the end of the group because I had all of them helping me coach. So it's, and I introduced them to the group like, Jamie, like 21-day challenge coach, like with their permission, I'm going to introduce you to the group, and I do it just like I would my team page for a new coach. And then I also say in there, like, if you are interested in helping, dabble into coaching or getting your feet wet, let me know, and I will have you do a couple days too. And so in this group that I did, I had people just, going, and now it's my normal technique. So yeah, so it definitely helps to do stuff like that. What's your view on discount coaches? I am totally cool with discount coaches. I always give people the option. I think what I have learned is that it's actually, I know, like, I've asked my corporate mentor about this too, like, does Beachbody look down on business coaches? Like, what's the deal with that? And like, they don't. From what Arnaud has told me, and even as of recent, it's something that they're very aware of is part of the business, and it's okay. And so what I learned is that it's actually better for them to get a discount. So I'm always going to offer that option. And if they say no, I don't push it. So that's kind of my deal. You know what? I have not used the Challenger Tracker app. My Diamonds and I are actually going to be doing our own little challenge for it to get to know it better. From the people that a couple of my Star Diamonds have been using it and absolutely love it. I have one big challenge group that I do. It's called TFE Support Group. And it's like, I add people to it, so I'm not starting a brand new challenge group every month unless it's like a test group for a brand new program. And every 30 days, I have my challenge going. And people can stay in it. They don't have to. They don't have to participate, but they're welcome to stay. I don't remove them, but they have that option. And I just have that going every 30 days. I buffer out most of it. And then when I have people join me to help me coach, I unbuffer those days and have them do it. So yeah, so that's helpful. Yeah, so I've heard really great things about the Challenger Tracker app though, and I need to get involved in it. I just, when you have a really good system going, it's hard to mess with that, but it's something that I need to definitely check out. So yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying, Danielle, about not knowing if you'd be able to have challengers post. I see. Yeah, that makes sense. And I don't know, but yeah, so this is a great recruiting technique for me. And if that isn't available, I've heard that you can't really have multiple coaches doing a challenge group. So you're right. That probably wouldn't really work. So yeah, but, oh, you can now. Hannah or Heather O'Connor's on this call. I love you, Heather. Cool. Okay, sweet. So it looks like I just need to get my feet wet. But do you love it, Danielle? Is it going well for you? I can't hear you. I think you're muted. That's okay. Just type yes. That happened the other day. My sound. Got it. No worries. But I'm glad that you're loving it. And yeah, it's definitely something that we got to work with. Cool. Do you guys have any other questions at all? Yeah, her sound still isn't working, Jen. That's cool though. Sweet. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm sorry that Oh, is that Danny?
No,
No,
Jen.
Jen.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you quick
Okay.
if you, I know you said that you send your new coaches like within your welcome letter right to the Coach Basics, which I love myself anyways. But do you run any sort of like shorter training groups? Like we just did, we just started running these like 7-day sprint to diamond, a 5-day emerald, and a 5-day new coach. And they just kind of, they just kind of get the coaches to know a little bit more about the business and how to move forward. I just didn't know if you did anything like that, or do you just put them into Coach Basics and then they have to go down through all the trainings of like what an emerald does and what a diamond does and that kind of thing that's in the
No, that's a really good question. I actually do like an emerald I have. Every quarter I've done like an emerald in a day group, and then a 7-day sprint to diamond. So, and we've had a lot of really, really great success with it. I think like the first 7-day sprint to diamond, we had like 100 people in it and 24 went diamond. So it had like a really good success rate. And right now I'm at a point where I'm kind of like reevaluating how I want to do those things. So I'm not planning on doing a sprint for the fall, but definitely different types of training. We've been doing a 6-day simple smart start, and I've been trying to engage my diamonds in more of that type of leadership. We actually have a different diamond post in TFE every single day, and there's like a different theme. Like Mondays are tips on inviting, Tuesdays are personal development, Wednesdays are workout Wednesdays, and that kind of stuff. And we do it within our team page, and it really creates a really great team bonding atmosphere. Some like Fridays are just like fun Fridays, so like they post their most embarrassing moments or about their families or just different stuff, and it just you get to know people more of like a retreat type level. So I'm really engaging my diamonds and doing more leadership. So I have a diamond coach, Jess, that does our simple start, and it's 6 days, and it's going well. I think that something that I have wondered as of recent too, if I'm trying to like rush too many things. And so when I did longer trainings, is people would seem to kind of like disengage after like 7 to 10 days, and so I started to do these shorter ones, but now I'm wondering if I need to like have like a good balance and just do like 10 days or something. So you kind of are always learning and growing, right guys? I think we're always kind of like transforming our practices, and it's good to see what other people are doing and how they've helped. Sarah Gobb is one of my success partners, and she started doing albums in her team page so that it's all self-led. They can just click on the album and the photo for the training post is there, and then the post for the training is there with a link to the video. And I really like that idea too, but I also like the interaction of groups. So yeah, I'm in the process of just redeveloping what I'm going to do. Starting Monday, I'm actually doing a live Coach Basics. So I'm going to be going live every day for a week, and just like I'm going to basically give them a schedule of like, this is when I'm going live. They can always watch the recording, but then I can like call them by name and make it a lot more personal and just really, share my heart with them in that way, and talk about social media and inviting and all of that. So I'm excited for that a lot. So we'll see how it goes. Cool. Do you guys have any other questions at all? No, we're good? Well, thank you guys so much for having me. I so appreciate it. It's always an honor to speak to teams like you guys, and something that I do at the end of my team calls is I pray for my team. Would you guys be okay with me praying for you? Is that cool? Okay, if that's weird for you in any way, don't worry, you can hop off. I just would love to do that. So yeah, I will go ahead and do that now. Dear God, I just thank you so much for all the coaches on this call tonight, and just the blessings that you, just bestow upon us every single day. You are an amazing God, and we are just so thankful that we have this opportunity to help as many people as we possibly can. And God, I just pray that you would just unite our teams that you would just continue to bless us, that we would, go for, dream big and go for big goals, and just know, God, that you're in control and we can trust that. And Jesus, I pray that you would continue to bless us. I pray that you would protect us from whatever obstacles the enemy is going to try to put in our way to make us feel unworthy, or like we're not good enough, or that we're not being the best coach in the whole world. God, you are so much bigger than self-doubt, and you are bigger than all of those negative feelings. So God, I just pray against that. And I just pray that you continue to use each and every one of us to be a light for your kingdom. We just give this to you, and just give you our businesses. We surrender it to you, knowing that your plan is best, and we can trust that, and we love you. In your name, amen. Amen. Well, thank you guys for having me tonight. I really appreciate it. And I will continue to pray for your businesses for sure. So
Thank you
cool.
so much, Jess.
Thanks again.
You are phenomenal. I appreciate it so much. I was so scared to even reach out to you, but I'm like, nah, I'm going for no. And you instantly said yes, that you'd be on the call. And I almost peed my pants, but I didn't. And I was so excited. I have a 4-way chat with some of my coaches. And I'm like, oh my God, she said yes. So yeah, I was very, very excited. So thank you so much.
That makes me feel amazing. So thank you guys. And thank you for being patient with my toddler. Man, it's a little rough. He actually unpacked an entire box while I was doing this. Can you believe it?
No.
Okay.
Hey, it kept him busy, so.
Exactly. Worth it. All right. Well, you guys are the best, and you guys have an amazing night. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Good
All right.
night.
Bye, guys.